Hi everybody, this is Tracy Bookman, owner of Homestead Roofing, and this is episode 2 of our video series called 7 Things You Need to Know About the Insurance Claim Process. So in this video, we're going to explain what happens when your adjuster comes out to your house and what you can expect from that whole process. Now this video kind of assumes that you've already filed a claim and you're watching this so that you know what's going to happen when your adjuster comes out. But if you haven't already filed a claim and you're wanting to know how that works and how to do it, then go back and watch episode 1 first. We'll link to that up here. Go back and watch episode 1 first, and that'll show you how to file a claim. Now once you've got a claim filed, then your adjuster is going to give you a call and set up a day and time that he's going to come out to the property. Now it's not super critical that you be home when the adjuster comes to your property, but it is kind of helpful. So when the adjuster comes out, he's going to introduce himself and kind of explain the process of what he's going to do at the property. Now he's probably going to ask you some questions about the damage. He's going to ask you why you think you have damage. He's going to ask you probably what date you think the damage occurred. And these are probably all going to be questions that you were asked when you filed the claim initially. But he's probably going to ask, you know, have you had it inspected? Has anybody taken a look at it? What did they tell you needs to be done? That kind of stuff. Just some basic information gathering that he's going to try to do before he starts his inspection. Now, this is really important because as he's asking you those questions, like we mentioned in episode 1, don't try to make up anything when you're answering the questions. If you don't know the answer to one of his questions, just be truthful and say, I don't know, because remember that if you try to make up any information and the information doesn't really kind of correspond with what he thinks or actual data that they have about when a storm happened, that could end up hurting you in the end and not helping. You know, I know we want to be helpful, and so we try to provide as much information as we can, but doing that could end up actually biting you instead. So the next thing that he's going to do is, well, he may check the roof first and then check the exterior of the buildings, but most likely he's going to check the exterior of any of the buildings that are on the property. In addition to that, he's also going to look at collateral items, what's called collateral items. So these are going to be things like fences, patios, decks. If you've got stamped concrete, you know, any walkways with that or driveways with that, he'll look at that stuff too. He's going to check out any patio furniture, especially barbecue grills, hot tub covers, pool covers. He's going to look at window screens and even the gutters and downspouts. After he's done checking all of that, then he's probably going to get up on the roof. Now remember, if you've got more than one building on your property, he's going to be looking at the roof on every building, just like he looked at the exterior of every building, because they're trying to come up with a comprehensive list of things that were damaged from the storm. So as he's looking at everything, including the roof, then he's going to be taking a lot of photos. The reason that he's taking photos is so that he can document anything that's damaged, but that's also helping him identify anything that's not damaged. So ultimately, if he decides that he either has to deny the claim or exclude certain things from the claim, he's got to have photo documentation to prove that those things weren't damaged. So this whole process can actually take an hour or more, maybe an hour and a half. But when he's done, if you're home, then he's going to knock on the door again, and then he's going to try to explain his inspection findings with you. Now the information that you get at that time may depend on a couple of things. It may depend on whether the adjuster is what's called a staff adjuster. That means that he actually works for the insurance company, or if he's a subcontractor. But if he's a staff adjuster, and especially if he's from your town, then he's probably got the authority to make a decision on the claim right then and there, and he's going to probably tell you his decision while he's there talking to you after he's done with all of his inspection. He's probably going to tell you whether the claim is accepted or denied, and if the claim is accepted, most likely he may be able to tell you how much the claim amount is. You may also even have a staff adjuster who has been given the authority to write you a check right then and there. Now, if you get a check, most likely that's going to be the first of 2 checks. And that has to do with replacement cost value and actual cash value, and we explained that in another video as well. Now, if he's a subcontractor, he may or may not have the authority to approve the claim, but more than likely he's going to have to submit his report to the insurance company, and then a claims rep or a claims manager at the actual insurance company will be the one to determine, based on his information, whether or not to approve or deny the claim. Either way, if your claim is approved right there on the spot, or if it's recommended for approval, the adjuster's going to try to do his best to explain to you some things. He's going to try to explain to you how the payments are going to work, because most likely you're going to receive 2 different checks. He'll try to explain replacement cost, coverage, deductibles, actual cash value, and depreciation. And unfortunately, this is where most people start to get a little bit glassy-eyed, and they just end up nodding as if they understand what it is that he's saying. But the reality is most people don't really understand what he's explaining right there. And part of that is due to the fact that it's confusing, and part of it's due to the fact that most adjusters aren't really very good at explaining all of that. So the next thing that happens, if your claim is approved, you're going to receive a claim document, also known as a loss sheet. You're going to get that in either mail or by email, or it may just show up as being available to you in your online account with the insurance company. Now, most insurance companies use a software program called Xactimate to write their claim documents. And there's 3 important things to remember about Xactimate. So let's kind of run through this list. Number 1, Xactimate is template driven. What I mean by that is when your adjuster comes out, if he's using Xactimate, he's got a template set up inside his software, and he's just going to populate that with as much information that he knows about your property. And that's kind of important because your house is unique. I mean, you think about it, not every house is the same, so there's going to be things about your house that may not be included in his template that he would then have to add in manually, and most adjusters aren't going to do that. The second thing is Xactimate knows most things about damage restoration, but not all things. Again, that's important because there might be some factors about your house that Xactimate doesn't know about. Maybe it doesn't know about the specialty type of shingles or the specialty type of roofing material that you have, and so it's not going to be able to account for the cost, the actual replacement cost of that product. The third thing to remember is that the claim document, the loss sheet, is just an estimate. Remember, that's the adjuster's best guess about what it's going to cost to get your property back to pre-storm conditions. It's not set in stone, it's not the be-all, end-all, it's just an estimate. Now, the reason that these things are important, and the reason that I'm making mention of these things, is because most insurance claim estimates are too low right out of the box. So on the first pass, most of the time, these insurance claim documents are going to be omitting things, or maybe the adjuster forgot things, or maybe there are codes that the adjuster isn't aware of, or maybe there were just things that need to be done to your house to get it back to pre-storm conditions that just weren't in the template, and so the adjuster didn't even think to include those in the estimate. So most of the time, if you're using a professional roofing contractor, what that means is that the claim document, the estimate you're getting from your insurance company, is going to be lower than your roofing contractor's estimate. Now, that's actually not anything to worry about, and in fact, it's the subject of our next video in episode 3, what happens now that you've got the claim document. So if you've got questions about this topic or any other topic, please give us a call at our office right up here. Our phone number is 719-433-6991. You can also visit our website. That's right down here, homesteadroofingcolorado.com. We've got a ton of information out there, lots of other educational videos and blog articles. If you've got questions that you would like us to address publicly, leave those in the comments section down below. Let us know what your questions are. We read and respond to all questions that we get on our YouTube videos. Also, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel, click the bell icon up there so that way you get notified when we've got new videos, especially when episode 3 comes out. Until our next video, I'm Tracy Bookman, owner of Homestead Roofing.